Welcome back to PSG's coverage of Assassin's Creed. Today we're going to be covering Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which was the chronologically released game in order. Alright, if you want to know what happened in Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, the link is down below, but let's get into this. Desmond Miles is dead, but the Abstergo Corporation isn't done with him. Acquiring some of his DNA, they hire an unknown analyst to use the Animus to comb through it. The supposed reason is to gain information that will allow Abstergo to create various entertainment programs. But the reality is so that the Templars can continue to search for the first civilization technology to help them rule the world. One location they're looking for is something known as the Observatory. To this end, the analyst begins to sift through the genetic memories of one, Edward Kenway, a British privateer who would become a member of the Assassin Order. In 1713, Edward was crossing the ocean when his ship was attacked. He becomes stranded on a deserted island along with the assassin Duncan Walpole. While chasing him down and killing him, Edward discovers a letter from the governor of Cuba that offers the assassin money for the maps that he was keeping. Hoping to start his life of piracy, Edward decides to take the assassin's clothes and identity. Making his way across the island, he finds a ship that is being held by the British soldiers. Edward kills the soldiers and joins the ship, which takes him to Cuba. Arriving on the island, he meets with the governor and learns of the Templar Order and that they are searching for a first civilization vault known as the Observatory. The Templars explain that the site is able to monitor anyone on Earth with just a sample of their blood. Legends state that the observatory can only be opened with the blood of a sage. Agreeing to search the observatory, Edward is accepted into the Templar Order. Edward is sent to bring the sage Bartholomew Roberts to the governor's mansion, but the group is attacked by the assassins and the sage escapes. After managing to capture Roberts, Edward is rewarded for his work, yet he was unhappy about the amount of money and decided to search out information about the observatory, believing that he could make more money that way. When the Templars discover that Edward is not, in fact, Duncan Walpole, he is captured and imprisoned on a Spanish treasure ship. It was on this ship that Edward met Adewale. The two managed to escape and steal one of the Spanish ships, claiming it as their own and renaming it the Jackdaw. Now legitimate pirates, the Jackdaw sets sail for the Bahamas. There, the two acquire a crew for the Jackdaw, and Edward begins to learn the art of piracy from Blackbeard himself. Allying himself with the pirates, Edward and his crew began to strike against the Spanish and British fleet in the Caribbean, helping several famous pirates in their quest for a pirate republic, free of the laws of the nations. They call this home Nassau. In the present day, the analyst is recruited by John Standish from the IT department. Standish believes that Abstergo isn't telling them the whole truth and has the analyst hack the computers to get more information. This information is then passed on to one Sean Hastings and Rebecca Crane. Back in the Caribbean, Edward sets out for Tulum, an ancient Mayan ruin that now acts as the base of operations for the assassins in the Caribbean, at the request of James Kidd. There, Edward meets Al-Tabai, who is an assassin mentor. At the mentor's request, Edward searches through the ruins to confirm that Roberts is in fact the sage that can open up the observatory. Afterwards, the group discovered that slave traders had also captured the Jackdaw and the assassins of the island. Edward manages to kill the slavers and free his crew, and afterwards, the mentor forgives Edward for the assassins that he killed while working with the Templars, but exiles him from the island. Edward begins to work across the Caribbean searching for Roberts and helping James Kidd, who was revealed to actually be an Irish pirate named Mary Read, with her assassinations. But Mary is captured by Roberts, who manages to escape once again. Edward once again returns to Nassau, which has fallen to ruin due to the pirates' lack of planning and poor governance. As the pirate nation begins to fall apart, the British Navy arrives offering a pardon to all of the pirates. As the pirate rulers argue over what they should do, Edward learns that the plan is actually a plot by the Templars to wipe out all of the pirates in the bay. He manages to sneak aboard the British ship and assassinate Commodore Peter Chamberlain and escape aboard the Jackdaw. Once again in the open ocean, Edward meets up with Blackbeard and the two begin to fight against the Royal Navy. The British fleet is too powerful though, and Blackbeard is killed. Edward continues his search for Roberts, continuing his piracy and assassinations across the Caribbean. Eventually, he managed to find Roberts on the island of Principe. He gained Roberts' trust and was promised that he would be allowed to enter the observatory. He explained that he planned to sell the location of the observatory, but Adewale suggested that he should inform the assassins instead. After Edward refused, he arrived at the observatory and was quickly betrayed by Roberts. He was captured and imprisoned in Port Royal. In the present day, Abstergo becomes aware of the stolen information that was snuck out of their offices. All of the analysts were imprisoned in the bunkers beneath the building until the culprit could be identified. Standish upgraded the analyst's clearance to allow him to leave the bunker, ordering them to hack into the main servers to cover their tracks. Once the analysts accessed the servers, a hologram of Juno was activated, and she explained that the analyst had activated a program that should have allowed Juno's consciousness to transfer into the analyst's mind, yet Juno was not strong enough, and the program didn't work. So returning to Edward's memories, the pirate stands during Anne Bonny and Mary Reed's trial for piracy. However, both women claim to be pregnant and that their executions need to be held off. 4 months pass and Edward is freed by the Mentor. The assassin gives Edward his weapons and asks him to help free Reed and Bonny. The two free the female pirates, but Mary Reed dies from complications of childbirth. For a while, Edward drowns his sadness in drink. Eventually, though, he makes his way with the jackdaw to Tulum, where he earns the trust of the assassins and begins to work with them. He begins a quest across the Caribbean, fighting against the Templars and eventually sealing the observatory once again. And after this is done, he learns that his wife has died in England and left him a daughter. In the present, Standish sneaks into the analyst's bunker, and there he reveals that he is the reincarnation of the Sage and that he plans to weaken the analyst so that Juno can take over their mind. Abstergo's security arrives, though, killing Standish before he can act. After the security looks into Standish's computer, they believe that he worked alone and was responsible for the hack. And in the past, Edward returns to England to live with his daughter, working quietly with the assassins to fight against the Templars. He remarries and he has a son, Haytham Kenway. Now, the storyline gets a little confusing here. You see, basically, they got rid of Desmond and they got rid of the overworld plot. So now they're just kind of left with this weird plot point of Juno trying to come to our world, but they didn't really know what to do with it or how to get her here. So this begins the era of Ubisoft kind of like letting the wheels just spin on Assassin's Creed while they figure it all out later. Also, Haytham Kenway is the individual that we talk about in the Assassin's Creed 3 video, so eventually these will all come together in one giant video explaining everything. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you want more stuff like this right here at PSG. I'll see you next time right here.